Deputies Troy and O'Keefe for the Fianna Fáil grouping. You have 15 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman. Well, Minister, in your opening statement you say you're working actively to achieve a successful Bus Éireann. In my mind, the only thing you appear to be working actively to achieve is the reopening of Step-Aside Garda Station. This is your third time to appear before this Transport Committee in the last number of weeks, each time in relation to the challenges facing Bus Éireann. Since that, the only thing that has changed, is Bus Éireann continues to lose €50,000 a day before the strike and €500,000 a day since the strike began. So that's since you were here on the 1st of February, 5.5 million of further losses. Since the 1st of March, 4.5 million of losses. Minister, can I ask you, you were given a briefing document by an email sent by Deirdre Hanlon to your advisor Carl Hunt in September 2016. I got it through Freedom of Information. And at that time, you said the company identifies a minimum turnaround of €7 million. What is the minimum turnaround for Bus Éireann as we stand today?
Minister to respond, so please.
Okay, let me answer the first question, the last question first. What are the losses in the company? The last audited accounts available are for 2015, and they show a loss of €6 million. The company's representatives have appeared before this committee, and when they did so, they stated that losses for 2016 are in the order of €8 to €9 million. As the Deputy will know, audited accounts for 2016 are not yet available for reasons which you fully understand. But let's be clear.
I know what the audit accounts, but just as you got a briefing in September 2016, what's your most up-to-date briefing in terms of the turnaround figure that's needed to achieve at Bus Éireann? Your most up-to-date figure?
The most up-to-date figure, I suppose, is the 8 to 9 million. But that is obviously moving because the accounts aren't audited. So don't expect me to make a definite decision on what the figure is until the accounts are audited. The most up-to-date figure is the figure that you've received, and audit accounts aren't available for 2016.
Thank you, Minister. Can I ask, is this problem and the deficit at Bus Éireann, as was originally envisaged, totally and exclusively in relation to the expressway service, or is it, as the unions feel, that your department has an agenda to push down the pay and conditions of the workers in order so that they can compete more freely with commercial operators?
Let me just take the first bit. There's absolutely no agenda on my part to push down wages specifically for any reason at all. What I do recognise, and what everybody recognises, both unions and management, is that there are inefficiencies in the company. There are work practices. There have been cuts in other areas which were necessary.
Is it fully and exclusively a result of expressway? Because I'm conscious I've only 10 minutes, Minister.
And what we have to say, there's no agenda. There's absolutely no agenda by my department to bring down wages for any kind of ideological reasons, if that's what the Deputy is suggesting. The company's losses have not yet been audited. So don't ask me questions about the detail of the
Minister,
losses.
you're getting briefings. I've seen them from the Freedom of Information. You surely, if you were getting briefings back in September of last year, you got a briefing before you come into this meeting here today.
Of course.
Yes.
But I don't know yet what the audited figures are going to say.
No,
nor do you, Deputy Troy, and nor does anybody else.
No, but I'm asking what you're being briefed.
And
ask what you're being briefed.
I'm not going to throw out figures here. I don't have the luxury of being able to do that, over which I cannot stand. So I am not going to say anything about the 2016 accounts in that sort of detail until they are audited.
Exclusively in relation to Expressway.
As you know, Deputy
Is
Troy,
it exclusively in relation to Expressway?
Those particular issues and those figures have been moving on a weekly basis. So let's wait and see the audited accounts before we decide what the losses actually are.
Get to examinership. Minister, the same document, you were said, only if needed, use this line. The Minister was aware that the company is at advanced stage in preparing a full business recovery plan, which he expects to be submitted to him shortly. You got that on the 24th of September 2016. Did you receive that recovery plan? Yes or no? And if you did receive that recovery plan, did you give it a sanction or your blessing? Yes or no? Because I have a number of questions answered.
I think the particular document to which you're referring, but you can correct me, Deputy Troy, was a document which was produced, which were proposals, not a plan. I think that's what that was about.
The Minister was aware that the company is at an advanced stage in preparing a full recovery business plan, which he expects to be submitted to him shortly. Black and white, freedom of information from your own department, not making it up.
After that was produced, yeah, you're absolutely correct. We got a series of plans during that year, and we got a series of proposals. And after that, particularly, I think it's the 24th of September you're referring to, September 2016, the board of the company then commissioned independent consultants Grant Thornton to consider the options that were open to it. It was not, and I think we've been over this territory many times before, Deputy Troy, it was not a plan. What Grant Thornton produced was an examination of the options which were open to
you received
the company.
No plan.
But it was not.
You received no plan.
It was not a plan.
Have you received any plan? Yes or no, please, Minister.
What we are
Have you received a plan? Yes or no? It's a simple, direct question. I'd appreciate a direct reply.
I have received proposals, and I have seen proposals. There is a plan at the moment, as the Deputy probably would be aware, which is being finalised at the moment. As we speak, a business plan which is being finalised. It's in draft form. Let me finish, please, Deputy Troy. Which cannot be finalised until the IR issues are resolved. And that's for a very, very good reason. You can't possibly produce a business plan for the company for 2016 and 2017 and the future until we know what the liabilities and what the expenditure are going to be and what the revenue is going to be elsewhere.
Minister, a briefing document. So have you seen the proposals then?
I'm going to be briefed on them tomorrow.
It's an awful pity you didn't get briefed on them before you came in today. Can I say, because the code requires the state-owned companies to afford the relevant minister an opportunity to review any such proposed plans before finalisation by the board of a particular company. So you will be afforded the opportunity to review such plans. Minister, you, in your opening address, called for flexibility between the management and unions.
I'll be briefed. Of course I'll be briefed on it. Sorry, if you want to talk, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. You required flexibility between the management and unions. You're not displaying much flexibility yourself, Minister. And you have an opportunity, and precedent was established. These have been to the WRC. Negotiations have broken down. And just as in October 2013, when the previous government of Fine Gael and Labour were in talks with Dublin Bus, they thought outside the box. They brought in two independent facilitators who was able to work with the two groups to try and bring the groups back to a position that they could go to the WRC and an agreement was reached. And that was a report carried out by Noel Dowling and Ultan Courtney. Have you considered using your power, your influence as Minister and Chief Stakeholder of using such a facility? Can I also ask, how much longer, in your opinion, Minister, can we stave off this company becoming insolvent?
Okay. You finished?
Yeah, for the moment.
Thank you very much indeed.
Oh, that's up. So
I'll get a briefing tomorrow on the state of the plan at the moment, but it cannot, and I hope, Deputy Troy, you accept this because it's self-evident. That plan cannot be finalised until the IR issue is resolved. It will only be in draft form, and you accept that, I presume.
Pardon?
You accept that?
We haven't seen the plan.
No, but no plan.
Have you received the plan?
I've answered that question already, Deputy Troy. No plan can be finalised, Deputy Troy, until the IR issue is finalised. Obviously, because that is a major factor in making a business plan. I'll see the draft form. I'll be briefed on how far it's got, but I won't be able to sign off or approve a final plan until that is resolved. And to expect me to do that is just nonsensical. Now, let me answer your question about facilitator. I'm determined this strike will be resolved by two mature, responsible parties getting together. Nobody has greater expertise in this area than the WRC and the Labour Court.
The answer to the question is no, you're not prepared to consider a facilitator.
The reason why the WRC and the Labour Court are set up is because they have that expertise and because they have a record. It would be wrong for me at this stage to undermine them and to undermine the Labour Court by appointing two people to suggest that they haven't done a good job of work or they haven't been approaching this in a sensible and constructive way.
They assisted the WRC in October 2013.
In a constructive way. I have full faith in the WRC and the Labour Court.
Can I just finally, how much longer do you think we can starve off insolvency? Has the board looked or taken any legal advice on reckless trading? And what is the consequences of possible examinership on the wider CIE group? And then I'll hand over to Kevin.
David Troy, I have absolutely no intention of speculating on insolvency. It would be utterly irresponsible for me to do that. But what I can say is this. The board is very aware of its responsibilities. It's very aware of its responsibilities to you and to me, to the taxpayer and everybody else. And it is certainly being advised about that particular issue.
And the consequences? The consequences of examinership across the wider CIE group?
It is not a time, at the moment, it is not a time for me to enter into a discussion of that sort, and I don't intend to do so today. What I am saying today is I am spending every hour of every day trying to sort out the problems in this particular dispute, to explain to people and to try to understand what's going on and monitoring it. I monitor this on a daily basis. That is my job as the shareholder, and that is what I do. But I am not going to, at this stage, address the issue of examinership because we are now trying to sort out this dispute.